Welcome to Civ 6 Stories, where we explore alternatives to history through the lens of the world's most addictive video game. Games are played on deity, no challenges. Generally, I don't use mods or game modes except for Sucratax Oceans. A great game is epic and tells a story. It has a history, all condensed down into 20 minutes. Along the way, you can learn tips and tricks on how to be a better Civ player, as well as strategies on how to play specific civilizations. For this episode, let's take a look at the game I played as Amanitore of Nubia. Now, for this game, just to change things up, I'm playing on a standard-sized continents map, but have subtracted 2 AI slots with the intention of giving each civ a little more room to breathe and grow on its own. After a mere 360 years of existence, scouts of Meroe ventured out into the wilderness and discovered the Pantanal. Hoping to be friendly with the city-states, Nubia became the first major civilization to meet Anshan, as well as Kumasi and Cahokia, and then Bandar Brunei. A barbarian invasion on the capital created some early stress for Nubia. But Nubia's discovery of the Patati archer would surely be the weapon to repel these invaders. For their pantheon, Nubia chose desert folklore. In 2680 BC, Nubia was surprised to learn that they were the first civilization to meet Hong Kong. In 2240 BC, Nubia founded its second city, Heh. A few centuries later, in their search for iron, Nubia realized that that resource could prove difficult to secure. In 1960 BC, at the dawn of the classical era, Nubia showed off their unique culture by constructing their first Nubian pyramid. In 1400 BC, with their discovery of political philosophy, Nubia became an oligarchy. When Nubia had the opportunity to take slaves from America, they took it. American scouts and warriors were on the hunt to claim back their clansmen. Unable to make them Nubians, they were sacrificed and tossed into the nearby volcano. But Nubia was gifted with a second chance to take slaves, this time from Spain, and once again they took it, declaring war on the city-state of Hunza in the process. In 950 BC, John the Baptist was born in the city of Meroe. He would lead the Nubian people into the light. Shortly after, Nubian warriors captured the city-state of Hunza. Nubia entered the medieval era in a golden age. Spain's city of Cordoba, surrounded on all sides by water and protected by a robust navy, would prove impossible for Nubia to take. A peace treaty was settled in 625 BC. In 525 BC, Nubia founded the eastern outpost of Qasr Ibrim. Though far from the core of Nubian cities, it was set up as a mining city used to supply the all-important strategic resource of iron to the empire. No assault on Cordoba or invasion of Spain could happen while a horde of barbarians with advanced weaponry marched toward Hunza from the Antarctic southwest. In 25 BC, Nubia founded the city of Napata at the northern end of the Nile River. In 100 AD, after centuries of learning and contemplation, John the Baptist finally founded a religion for Nubia based on the tenets of work ethic and a world church. 25 years later, the great army general, Ethelfled, joined the Nubian Empire. That year, a Nubian charioteer discovered that the barbarian invasion from the south had been as much a nuisance to Spain as they had been to the citizens of Hunza. In 275 AD, now with a steady source of iron, equipped with man-at-arms, and with Ethelfled leading troops into battle, Nubia felt ready to make a run at Cordoba once again. Barbarians were already laying siege to the Spanish capital. With Nubia now involved, though no ally to any barbarian, the Spanish army were overwhelmed. While advancing upon the Spanish, Nubia entered the Renaissance in a dark age. Nubian soldiers walked into Cordoba in 350. Though barbarians had done most of the work beating down the defenses, it was Nubia who captured Madrid in 400 AD. By 680, an allied Spanish Khmer counteroffensive halted the Nubian advance. Nubia also lost control of Madrid. In 820, Nubia, after testing out all of the ancient governments, transformed itself into a monarchy. After putting Cartagena under siege from the sea, Nubia was able to break through and capture the city. Spanish boats still controlled the Mediterranean Sea, and Nubia could not control Madrid, but they refused to halt their advance. In 1000 AD, Nubia captured Valencia. In 1030 AD, when Nubian missionaries converted the free city of Madrid, the holy city of Jainism, it meant that Nubia would experience an industrial era heroic age. And 10 years later, Madrid came under Spanish control again. The Spanish Empire was falling apart, but they would not collapse completely before the start of the Industrial Era. No longer in a dark age, however, Nubia could now concentrate on infiltrating Spanish cities and would not have to worry about being unable to maintain control. All cities would now be drawn toward Nubia. They recaptured Valencia in 1100 AD. And 20 years later, they captured Barcelona, putting an end to the Spanish Empire for good. In 1150 AD, a brave corsair sacrificed itself to disperse the barbarian encampment to the south who had been the scourge of the Spanish for centuries. The Nubian conquest of Spain brought a new peace to the region, but Nubia was still at war with the Khmer to the north. The only way through into Khmer lands was through a difficult bottleneck through mountainous terrain around the city of Yasodapura. In 1250, Nubia built the Terracotta Army. Battles raged along the Khmer border by Yasodapura for centuries, with neither side able to push through. Meanwhile, religious battles between Nubian Jainism, Polish Christianity, and Gallic Druidism were taking place on the American frontier. Who would control the thoughts and spirituality of all the world? Around the same time, Nubian sailors were proving without a doubt that the earth was round. Seeing no way through to capturing Yasodapura, in 1410, Nubia and the Khmer settled on a peace. When Poland founded the city of Kalis on the border of the Nubian Empire, south of Kumasi and east of the Jebel Abayad Plateau, it was seen as a sign of unwarranted aggression. Nubia declared war in 1480. Nubia entered the modern era in a golden age. Having solidified their position in the region by becoming suzerain of Kumasi, Nubia captured Kalis in 1525. Looking to light the spark of enlightenment, Nubia spent its stored faith to recruit the talents of Gustave Eiffel. In 1570, in the former Spanish city of Cartagena, Nubians built Kilwa Kisawani. After laying siege to Radom, Nubia finally pressed its influence west of the Jebel Abyad Plateau and seized the city in 1590. At that point, the Khmer allied with Poland to counter the Nubian military threat, and together they vowed to liberate Kalis. In 1600, within moments of each other, Nubia completed Petra in the city of Faras and converted the newly settled Khmer city Bhavapura while their citizens were at war with one another. With the conflict raging in the north between Nubia, the Khmer, and Poland, the once Polish city of Tarnów flipped to free cities. By 1680, with Nubia's golden age winding to a close, the Khmer city of Bhavapura pledged its allegiance to the Nubian Empire. Nubia narrowly missed out on stringing together golden ages, while the Khmer, their fiercest rivals, entered the atomic era in a heroic age. Were the conflict to continue, Nubia would find it difficult to control new cities. In 1715, Nubia continued pushing the borders of their empire by capturing the city-state of Cahokia, giving them full control of the Red Sea. 5 years later, the former Polish city of Tarnów joined Nubia. In 1730, with Gaul and Nubia laying siege to Rapa Nui, Gallic soldiers eventually burned the city to the ground. The war in the north raged on for decades. In 1765, Nubian forces captured the Polish city of Warsaw. In 1802, with their discovery of class struggle, Nubia became a communist state. The war in the north was intensifying, and Nubia's battle lines were wearing thin. But in 1810, they captured the Polish city of Wrocław, feasting on a host of inspirations in the process. When the fighting stopped, a peace deal between Nubia and Poland was agreed. In 1820, Nubian architects built the Hagia Sophia in the city of Meroe. That same year, a national park was founded outside Cartagena, acknowledging the supreme beauty and wonder of Gobustan. The occasion assured an information-era golden age for Nubia. 2 years later, hoping to extend their influence in the region, Nubian soldiers captured the city-state of Kumasi. By 1828, it kind of felt like Coachella was happening outside the city of Warsaw. Nubia entered the information era in a golden age. After so much fighting, they had quietly spread their religion to much of the world and become the world's spiritual leader. Tired of war and looking to conquer the world spiritually, Nubia leadership met with a Khmer delegation to discuss peace terms. The world was at peace, and the road was open for Nubian apostles and missionaries to spread their message. The whole of Nubia followed the one true religion, but Nubia's rivals would not go quietly into the night. Nubia discovered that Khmer Mahayana was still strong and spreading within its own lands. Great religious debates raged to determine what was indeed the one true religion. Faithless America was a spiritual battleground between Nubian Jainism and Gallic Druidism. The religious struggles promised to be as intense as the ancient military battles, but by 1854 it was a contest that Nubia felt it could win. In 1858, looking to at least prevent one of their rivals from stealing a space victory, Nubia recruited the services of Carl Sagan. After converting the American city of Cincinnati, Nubia had converted half the world to the one true religion. They also possessed one of the world's strongest theological forces. It was only a matter of time. Wrocław, home of the pyramids, would have been a prize for any civilization, but it refused to be controlled. The Polish were the rightful claimants to the city, but Nubia refused to let it go. Once a great and prosperous city, by 1888 it had turned into a wasteland. With the era drawing to a close, needing more era score as well as loyalty in the north, and hoping to gain an upper hand in the region, Nubia declared war on Poland once again in 1898. Somewhat under the radar, Fury Band was becoming one of the greatest, if Nubia's only, touring acts in the world. In 1901, the Nubian army took the Polish city of Gniezo. In 1902, after converting the city of Głogów, Nubia successfully staved off a future-era Dark Age. In 1905, Nubia recruited the talents of the great engineer Wernher von Braun and the great writer Gabriela Mistral. When Fury Band played a sold-out show in Łódź, it set them apart from every touring band on the planet as absolute legends of rock. In all of my Civ sessions, never had I seen a more successful touring act. In 1908, when a Nubian bomber rained down hellfire upon a Polish artillery, it ensured for Nubia a future-era golden age. By 1910, Wrocław once again joined Poland, even as Bydgoszcz fell to Nubia that same year. Nubia was so focused on securing control of the Polish north and winning a religious victory that their leader ignored key pieces of information coming from other, more sheltered parts of the world. In 1913, the Nubian army successfully broke through and captured the Polish capital city of Kraków. They recaptured Wrocław moments later, taking over permanent control of the pyramids. Believing a religious victory was in the bag, after capturing the Polish capital, Nubia settled on a very soft peace deal. Credit to Fury Band, who just kept playing solid shows. I mean, they just kept doing it. God damn, Fury Band, you guys are outrageous. At the end of 1917, the story of civilization came to an end, with historians, to the surprise of many, crowning the Khmer, whose exoplanet expedition reached its destination that year, as champions. How could this have happened? Not long after my first couple of sessions playing this game, I foolishly advised a Reddit user seeking to make their Civ games just a half degree easier to remove a couple of opponents from the map size in order to give them more room to breathe in the early game. Sorry, Reddit user. That was terrible advice because in the end, well, we see the results. So where did it all go wrong? Did you notice? I'll give you a moment. It all went to hell when I abandoned my first conquest of Poland in order to pursue a religious victory. In fact, looking back at how I played my sessions, I became so focused on winning by religion that I forgot I had recruited Carl Sagan and Wernher von Braun to the point that I didn't even use them to launch any of my space projects. Wow. Talk about losing my focus. Poland and the Khmer are decent religious civs. The Khmer especially did a decent job of holding on to theirs, aided by the fact that I never really made any real attempt to invade them militarily and instead focused on beating up on Poland. I was a bit surprised that Gaul, that I don't think of as a religious-focused civ, did such a great job of holding on to their own religion. In fact, religion is something that many civs abandoned by the modern and atomic eras, so seeing so many religious units kicking around that late into the game was indeed a surprise. This is also another reason, and I think that this playthrough further proves, why I often say that a religious victory is one of the more difficult ways to win in Civ 6. Unlike science and culture victories, there are no late-game bonuses, great people, or dedications aiding players in pushing to these victories. A religious victory has to be grind out using faith exclusively. It's also incredibly difficult to defend because once your apostles leave to convert a new area, that area you work so hard to convert can be reconverted almost without a player noticing. Religious victories deserve way more respect than they get, especially on higher difficulties. I want to just take one quick moment to talk about Fury Band. In the past on my channel, I've shown my disdain for the culture victory and just how difficult it is to achieve. Part of that disdain comes from the fact that Rock Band RNG is so fickle, and I usually get no more than 1 or 2 shows out of a band before they disband. Fury Band, no joke, played maybe 15 shows. They were spread over multiple sessions, and like I've stated, I was so focused on winning a religious game that I don't think I even noticed while I was playing. But I applaud you, Fury Band. Not the game in which I really needed your talents, but I am happy to have had them all the same. Before I finish here, I just want to point out to players just how important it is to not lose focus and take your eye off the prize when you play. I've gotten so used to winning over the last couple of years at Civ 6 that I've become a bit complacent when I play now. When you stray from a bona fide winning strategy, well, I mean, look what happens. Ugh. Can't win them all. Anyway, thanks for watching, and remember to keep playing and making your own civilization story, your own amazing path through history, and I'll see you next time.